Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Photographic Memory Podcast. And I'm excited to welcome to the program Dr. Shannon Panzo. Dr. Shannon, what's going on? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. It's a lovely day here. It's a little bit misty, and New South Wales and Queensland have both been in flooding. So we're in Victoria, so that isn't too bad. We haven't been copying that one.
That's good. We don't want any flooding going on. And for all the people out there to understand, Dr. Shannon Panzo is a brain management expert, a photographic memory expert, and also he does mentoring. And mentoring is what really leads us into our conversation today, and the fact that all of your three books tie together mentoring in so many ways, don't they? And wouldn't you
Oh
agree?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to go over these, basically the premises and such with you. That'll make it easier for people to understand, what this is all about, where I'm coming from, and such.
Absolutely. So, like, I am right now reading, and I'm going to grab the book as I'm searching. Oh yeah, consciousness is self awareness. I'm reading right now, and but you've written other books as well. But I think that would you say that this is the first of the three you should read? Is there a order in reading your books?
Well, it really depends. It really depends on what you want to achieve. The consciousness is self awareness. That book there. The reason why what started the whole thing is somebody said, well, why don't consciousness is a big topic. Why don't you write an article on consciousness? Well, I started writing the article. It quickly changed into a book because there was just so much to write about it, and the topic is actually never ending. You'll just have
Exactly.
plenty of area to go into. And once you start understanding that people as an individual, they need to actually take it on board their consciousness. This should be considered part of everybody's plan of action, uh, where their path is leading. They should consider consciousness as a big part of that path because that's pretty much what it is. And so, what I found is that there's a lot of miscommunication about consciousness. There's a lot of uh, roads to travel out there. I did a bit of study on it to understand where I was coming from. Also, I started getting all these contradictory ideas coming in from all these different areas, whether it be religion or government or just people out there writing about consciousness. There were all these different ideas, and most of them were agenda generated. They were basically coaxing people to come on board with their idea. Well, that's not what consciousness is all about. A, an individual, a person, should take it on board themselves to decide what they believe is their consciousness. And that's the way that I wrote this book, is without an agenda. It's actually a workbook. I've even left extra white space for people to make their notes in, simply because this is something that they need to do. This is a book to be revisited time and time again. The only reason why the Kindle version is up is simply because there are some places in the world where getting book delivery is nearly impossible. So that's the
Exactly.
only reason why it's up. Otherwise, I always recommend getting the book because a person will revisit the book time and time again. And over time, you revise your notes as
Right.
to how you think about various things. And this whole book is generated to generate questions within yourself, to ask yourself certain questions, to look at certain ideals. And in mentoring, I almost all of my clients already have some desire to study their consciousness, but they don't necessarily have the game plan in place on how to go about doing that. So that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, is so that I could have something that was meaningful and a path for my clients to actually take it on board and follow that through and do what they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's let's look at, after this book is written, the other two go hand in hand, or which one came out first?
Well, actually, there's a series of 3 books. Now, the series of 3 books are I call them the Under the Jackfruit Tree. Now, to explain to explain this, I'm going to have to explain what I mean by there's a little proverb says, "Don't sit under the jackfruit tree." Well, the jackfruit is a fruit that grows in a tree, and it can grow all 40 to 80 pounds. So if you happen to be sitting under the jackfruit tree when one of these tiny little fruits break off, it can kill you. So the point
Exactly.
is that's like life. Sometimes you never know when it's going to come or how it's going to come, and suddenly there you are. You're in the midst of whatever it is that you're dealing with. And so these 3 books, it's a series. They all start with under, basically around under the jackfruit tree. So the first one is, are you living under the jackfruit tree? Okay,
Okay.
pretty pretty benign topic. And I'm an eclectic writer. So what this is this is a series of articles, very much like life. Life occurs one day at a time.
Okay.
And from day to day, typically you don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. And so you get little surprises along the way. So that's the essence of these books as well. So Are You Living Under the Jackfruit Tree is book one. Then Revealing Truth Under the Jackfruit Tree, I talk about what it is, what truth is, what your truth is, how to find it, things like this. These articles are theme driven.
Okay.
And finally, the last one in this series is called Chrysalis Transformation, where I talk about transforming yourself into the better person or the higher being, however you want to say, however you want to state that. So these 3 books go hand in hand with each other. They're probably a precursor to the consciousness book, but the consciousness book is written
Yeah.
completely different. I'm still a very eclectic writer, and Neil, uh, can you verify that I'm an eclectic writer when I'm writing about consciousness?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So basically, I pop onto a topic, give you what you need to learn about that topic, then I pop onto a new topic. And again, these are all theme driven in certain areas. And I think I have one chapter that's less than a page long,
Yeah, it
but
just all
that's
depends on
okay.
how you want to write it, that chapter. Got it.
That's right. And all the important information that I wanted to deliver in that chapter was covered in less than 1 page. So that's that's how it was. But
Exactly.
the good thing is I do my best to keep it entertaining and interesting along the way. It in itself is a path. Now, what I do recommend is I do recommend my anybody that's reading this book mentally photograph it. If you can mentally photograph it
Okay.
first, then it's going to make it a lot easier as you go through the book and actually read it after the fact.
So they need to know you
Because
then if they have to mentally photograph it.
well, then they just have to read it a lot more. Because see, mental photography, you get 100%, you get 100%, 100% of the information immediately, and it stays with you. Whereas if you're reading it, you only get 5% after 48 hours,
Right.
and so you got to reread it and reread it, in the conformist sort of way. So yes, you can do those things, but the main thing is you want to absorb that material, you want to get accustomed to the material so that you can start making decisions upon your own life. So that really does it really does come into focus as to what that really means.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, so really what it means, so but you recommend people to do it, then they're gonna have to sign up for Zuxpro then. If they're gonna be able to mentally photograph the book.
Well, they should sign up for Pro minimally so that they can learn mental photography in the correct way. Then they can mentally photograph the book. Mental photography is not a prerequisite to learning what is in the book,
Okay.
but it sure makes it a lot easier. Plus, remember, whenever I write a book, I know to stay extremely focused on writing. This is the
Right.
same reason why I have been plagiarized so much. It's because I write very intensely. And there's a lot that goes into my writing. So likewise, whenever you go and mentally photograph the consciousness book, you're getting a lot more than what most people would think you're getting due to quantum physics.
Exactly. Wow,
Okay.
Dr. Shannon, it's wild for sure.
So there was a. Uh, did you want to go into any topics today?
I think that this is good just to get us understanding what these books are about, and then we can go into further detail next time why you wrote the series of books. We understand a little bit more of the reason you wrote a series of books, and then why you eclectically wrote the latest book. But really, to understand who Dr. Shannon is to read all those books, right?
Oh, Dr. Shannon keeps growing and growing and growing. So I understand a little bit more about myself every day. And so I get to share that with people along the way.
And
So,
let's just do a
what?
quick summary of each book. First, with name each book and a quick one sentence summary of why you should buy it. That's perfect.
Okay. Well, the series of three books. By the way, these are all on Amazon. You can get them all. The first three books are ebooks. They're Kindle books, so uh, they're relatively inexpensive. Are you living under the jackfruit tree? Revealing truth under the jackfruit tree, and Chrysalis Transformation under the jackfruit tree. Okay. Now, these three books, uh, the reason why you want to take a look at these is because this is relative to a, basically a postcard, a day out of the life of, or a picture out of a photo album. And that's what these that's what these stories are all about. They're stories or articles, they're real life events, and that's what's actually in here. So this is, I guess you could say, it's walking the path of what I walk every day
Yes.
and understanding things a little bit differently than what the average person sees. And those are it'll increase your awareness and perception of the world around you. It'll change your perception a little bit, and how you relate to those things, it may change your perception a lot. So that's for the first three books. Now, the one that is the newest book, which is, I think, the best written book, obviously, is uh, is Consciousness is Self-Awareness. Okay. Now, the title really does explain it all. In order for you to reach your own personal self-awareness, you need to deal with your consciousness. And
Okay.
we talk about many things. We talk about truth. We talk about global consciousness, universal consciousness. We talk about you in the world, in your particular world, what your truth is, what it can be
Yes.
based upon. And it not only deals with fact, but later on it deals with multidimensionality. There's a whole lot of, it takes you very fast through a lot of different topics. This is like 8 books in one. That's
Okay.
what somebody else, I had somebody else take a look at the book itself, somebody that is accustomed to reviewing books. And they said, oh yeah, this book here, this is like you've written 8 books and you've stuffed them all in one book.
Okay. So the best place, Dr. Shannon, to purchase all the books is in Amazon, correct?
Right. But On the consciousness book, you can go to you can go to brainmanagement.com, and there's a pop-up there. And you click on the pop-up, it takes you over to a page that you can actually sign up to get the first chapter of the consciousness book for free.
All right.
So you can do that.
Great idea. So they go there, and then also they need to go to zuxpro.com right now to sign up for the photographic memory, to learn photographic memory, certain brain management techniques. Go to zuxpro.com right now, correct?
That is correct. Mental photography is going to be something that you can really make use of.
Oh, I trust me, I can. When our this conversation with Augie had pretty explained it too. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Again, uh, he's been using it for just as long as I have. So that's a good thing.
All right. So thanks again for tuning in to the Photographic Memory Podcast, and we'll talk again very soon. Take care, guys.